This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from, so whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.
Hi, listeners. This is Mike Morford, host of The Murder in My Family, and I want to tell you a little bit about Wondery and Bloomberg's hit series, The Shrink Next Door, which is moving from podcast to screen. But you can listen to all episodes right now and hear why Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd signed on to play the real people in this unreal true story. Journalist Joe Nacira investigates a decades-long story of how a New York psychiatrist deliberately and maliciously took over his clients' lives. The most notable victim was a wealthy businessman named Marty Markowitz. Over the years, Joe got to know Marty and saw direct and clear evidence of how his shrink, Ike Irishkoff, manipulated him and systematically took over his life. The Shrink Next Door is an incredible, jaw-dropping story about how Marty nearly lost everything to a man he thought was his friend and most trusted confidant. It's strangely funny and totally terrifying at the same time, and it's well worth a listen. I'm about to play you a preview of The Shrink Next Door, but while you're listening, make sure to follow The Shrink Next Door on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can binge the entire series ad-free with Wondery Plus on the Wondery app.
Every neighborhood has its share of mysteries. We can live our entire lives and barely know the people just one door down. I have a summer house in Southampton, a couple of hours outside of New York. This part of the Hamptons is called the Bayside. It's quiet, peaceful, a place to escape from the city in the hot summer months. Samson and Jackie Giat have a house on the same street as me.
My name is Jacqueline Giat, and we're married 35 years.
We're married 52 years.
They've been coming here since the 80s. Most of the houses on our street are single-story with wooden clapboard fronts. But there's one house on the street that stands out. For starters, it's just bigger than most of the other houses. It's 2 stories instead of 1, and it's the only one on the street with a separate guest house out back. And then there's the way it looks.
The house is spectacular with windows and windows and windows.
Everything about it is over the top.
There's a pond with goldfish, lots of fish, and a waterfall to the pond, too.
It's bigger, bolder, brasher than anything else on the street. In 2010, my wife Dawn and I bought the house next door. It wasn't long before a man popped over to our house to introduce himself. He was dressed like a maintenance man, green khaki pants, a long-sleeved work shirt, and a faded baseball cap. He welcomed us to the neighborhood, and then he handed us a folder of press clippings.
I literally just took them and said thank you, but he wanted us to have them. He really wanted Joe to have them.
There were articles that a psychiatrist, Dr. Isaac Hirschkopf, had written, and articles that had been written about him. In mid-August, an invitation arrived to a summer barbecue next door, hosted by Dr. Hirschkopf, Ike. This would be the last of 3 big summer parties he threw every year. It was a warm afternoon. I chatted with a few people, sipped on my glass of wine, and began to wander around. At some point, I found myself in the living room. There was a fake giraffe bust, Venetian masks, plastic parrots hanging from the ceiling, even a giant gong. But what struck me most were the photographs. Lots and lots of photographs. And in nearly every one of them, there was Ike Hirschkopf with a different celebrity. Ike with Henry Kissinger, Ike with Elie Wiesel, Ike with Brooke Shields, Ike with Gwyneth Paltrow, even Ike with O.J. Simpson. It was like one of those diners where the walls are covered with pictures of celebrity patrons. At that moment, the man himself appeared. He greeted me like a long-lost friend and said that my wife and I should come over soon for a drink. And then he was gone. Sure enough, a few days after the summer party, the same maintenance man we'd met before showed up at our door again. This time, he brought an invitation for drinks. It was very formal, as if he was reading from a script. You mean like Dr. Hirschkoff wants you to come over?
Right.
At such and such a time on such and such a day.
The formality of it blew me away, and he was very, very exacting about how it had to go.
So we went.
One of the strangest evenings I've ever had in the Hamptons.
Or anywhere else, for that matter.
But definitely the Hamptons.
Ike and his wife, Becky, welcomed us in and ushered us to a round kitchen table. There were snacks laid out, carrots and celery. Ike served white wine. So what I remember is him talking incessantly about being a sex therapist and a celebrity therapist. And I can't remember the details, but that it just really sticks in my mind that he kept going on and on about that. It was more like a monologue than a dialogue. That's what I remember. What do you remember?
I just remember thinking, these people are... I felt suffocated.
Ike talked about his work.
I've never seen anything like it. But I remember thinking he was very brazen about the details of his life, considering we were strangers and also considering what he does. He did talk about an NBA sports guys and somebody, a Yankees player. I just thought he lacked a lot of discretion, given his field.
We listened politely as he went on and on.
I just remember looking towards the door.
Finally, after about an hour, I said we needed to get home.
And we got up to leave, and it was very clear that Ike wanted a photograph.
A photograph of me.
I think he came out and said, well, we'd like to get a picture of you. And it was just Joe. It wasn't Joe and I.
So I let Ike take my picture, pin it to his wall, and then we left as fast as we could.
I remember getting to our home collapsing on the couch or something.
Dawn told me she never wanted to go back. There was no sign of the maintenance man the night Dawn and I went over, but I knew he was still around. Sometimes we'd be on our deck and we'd see him outside working in the yard. When I returned to the Hamptons the following summer, I noticed something strange at the house next door. I would see the maintenance man out on the property doing his usual work in the backyard, but Ike Hirschkoff was gone. I would never see him or his wife Becky in the Hamptons again. There were no more summer parties. It was as if they had simply disappeared. And that's when I learned that everything I had thought I'd known about my neighbor was wrong.
It's a wild story.
That's the maintenance man. The guy who came to our door with the press clippings. The guy we saw working around the yard. That was Marty Markowitz. The same guy who had first gone to see Dr. Isaac Hirschkoff as a patient nearly 30 years earlier.
You've just heard a preview of The Shrink Next Door. To hear this unreal story in its entirety, plus new bonus episodes, where Joe Nacera interviews the cast and creators of the TV adaptation, including Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd, follow The Shrink Next Door in Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening now. I hope you enjoyed this preview, and we'll see you back here soon.
Welcome to What's Next, for your community, for your career, and for the healthcare field. At Carrington College, we're training the next generation of dental assisting professionals, bringing you the hands-on training to be ready for a career in the dental health world. We're building on a proven legacy of career training, going back over half a century. So if you're ready to train for a career in dental assisting and make a difference in your community, we're ready for you. For information about student outcomes, visit carrington.edu/SCI.